I've been watching you. A la 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 long. A la 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 long, 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 long. Come on. Long, long, long. Hey. Standing across the room, I saw you smile. I said I wanna talk to you for a little while. But before I make my move, my emotion starts running wild. My tongue gets tied, and that's no lie. Looking in your eyes, I'm looking in your big brown eyes. Yeah.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. What up? It's 6:34. I apologize. I'm a little late today. Feel like every day I try and I got to start at 6:30. I remember back in the day when I was training for the Ironman and I was sitting there at 4:30 in the morning waiting for 30 bike riders. If you were 30 seconds late, you were in trouble. It gets cold out there in the morning, so I feel you. So if you've been waiting since 6:30, I get it. I'm going to do my best to get in a little bit earlier. Anyway, good morning. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. I'm also a founding partner. It's been 27 years. My goodness. I'm also the founder of Red Dog Mindset. If you subscribed above to Red Dog Mindset, congratulations. You will never lose the 630 Club. Also, you get to do a 20-minute workout with me in the morning if you want. I already did it. 20 minutes called the 25-20, the Wall Street workout, where we do a little bit of mobility, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of supersets, talk a little bit of stocks, get the mind right, so this way we can get in here, feel good, go through 40 charts and put together a go-to list and then try and execute with some confidence. So far, this is day three of 2026. I got to say it's pretty good. You know, day one was tough on Friday just because they faked you out with the Mag 7 names going and then failing. But then, you know, the other 493 stocks did just fine. So if you were spread out, you did pretty well. And then yesterday, you know, all you had to do is participate. You could have been in gold and silver and made money. You could have been in Bitcoin and made money. Ethereum and made money. You know, crypto derivatives and made money. You could have been in the drone names, the space names, the financials. Even a few tech names did fine. So hopefully you had a great day yesterday. Yesterday was my best day in a while. So I figured I'd wear the same sweatshirt just in case. Oh, but we're not superstitious as traders. Anyway, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Who do we got? We got Big Baller in here. We got Frank. We got Call Me Myron. Every day is a responsibility, or every day above ground is a good day. ASTS was really good. We bought it red and went green and had a nice push. It was a lot of good stuff. What's up, Kristen? What up? You're going to wear the same sweatshirt also? All right, let's all wear the same sweatshirt. I'll wear this all week if I make as much money today as I made yesterday, even half. Anyway, with that said, it's funny. What up, Blair? How you doing, my man? Happy New Year to you. Always seeing you. Tesla, I guess, will be interesting today. You know, mega cap tech is not the place to be, but Tesla repaired itself a little bit. So did Amazon. Apple's still really weak. You know, Microsoft's just nothing. Meta's nothing. It's really been, you know, the drone space, financials. Yesterday was a little bit of XLE, energy names. But anyway, we'll see what today brings. For now, you know, here's a chart of the SPYs. SPYs right here, you know, poked its head above this 686 at 689.90. I would think if it could hold this, it'll make it nice and easy to stay long. As of right now, SPYs are only down 42 cents. Not a big deal. 687.30. Let it hold here. That would be good. And at some point, if we could hang here a little bit longer, maybe, you know, makes a nice move. But for now, as long as the stocks are moving around, I don't care what the SPYs really do. You know, the Qs weren't a headwind. You know, in order to stay away from being a headwind, I would think the Qs need to hold 616-ish. The market's fine when tech is in a headwind. It could go elsewhere. But when tech actually is, you know, a headwind versus just lagging, it makes it a little harder for traction. So anyway, what's yesterday's low? This is 616-ish. I'd say as long as the Qs hold 616-ish and doesn't get below it and work down lower, you know, the Qs could be fine. Doesn't mean you have to be so focused there, but at least it's not a drag. Look at the candle in the IWM. That was a nice candle yesterday. The IWM and the small caps and the growth type names was where I made my money yesterday. Hopefully you made your money there too. Nice. This was your day to start the year. This was your, hey, small caps are back in vogue. And then yesterday was a nice candle. So we'll see what happens today. Wouldn't be the end of the world if we get an inside day. Yesterday's high, it was what? This is 253.54. So let's put that in there. I like to have all these point references in there. That's how I go about my day. So 253.45 is right here. Okay. Prior high was 255. So little inside action wouldn't be so bad. Hopefully some of these small caps that you were able to trim into some strength, you get to buy some back and continue to massage the trade. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that yesterday I came in with a lot of size everywhere and I come in smaller, and and now I'll push through. You took a short yesterday in MU. That was great. MU showed some relative weakness. MU was extended. Kind of made, you could make more money with MU long than short, but that makes some sense. But anyway, that's the IWM. XLE was a little loose and wide yesterday. Probably needs an inside day. We'll see what happens here. I did buy XLE decently yesterday. I had a nice little dip. You never want to chase strength in the first 30 minutes. You want to buy a dip, and it came off that low nicely. I was showing guys yesterday, like, look at the chart of the XLE yesterday. It actually gave you a chance to buy it. So if you go to some people are like, well, how would you do that? Well, if you go bring this over here, this is one of the charts that I have up intraday. I usually have 6 of them. You go to the intraday of the XLE, and remember yesterday, the last thing you do is chase strength ever, and then it came in. And like right around here, I feel like we bought some, and then the higher low, we bought a little bit more, and it was a nice move. But anyway, we'll see what happens with the XLE. I have options on for a few weeks out. I'm not so great with this group, so I just want to have some exposure just in case. Am I looking in Nvidia today? I am looking in Nvidia today. So yesterday, okay, let's talk Nvidia. Yesterday Nvidia, opened up and failed. For some reason, the programs out there are always selling strength, which is fine. We don't chase strength. So it came to 192.69, maybe even a little higher than that. Wow, 193.63. So let's change that. 193.63 is right here. So they sold this strength. It's still in this little pocket pivot. I kind of think, it's gonna. Let's see where is it right now? Nvidia is. Oh, it's up now. It was up to it was down $1.50. I wanted to buy it today. Yeah, I kind of think that it's set enough where there's no reason why this shouldn't participate. They're evolving. They're getting new sets of chips. They're going to new sets of business. They have their old business. They have new business. I bought options yesterday into the close, actually. So we'll see. It was down $1. Now it's up $1. So I would think, from 212 to here, it's still like everyone's like, oh, it's up so much in the last 3-4 years. It is, but it's also growing into its PE. Its PE is going down, basically in the same spot it was, over the summer. So it's not like it was super duper extended. So I do think that Nvidia is something that could act well in the next month. And it's, it's not an A+ play or an A play, but it's an A play. It's better than other things. Whereas, Micron yesterday, I was like, it's just too extended. A lot of guys in my system had it long from the pro earnings gap right here, 246.20. Then the day after you buy versus the gap, and just yesterday, you couldn't be a buyer. I said yesterday, you trim it to strength. If you're a good short, maybe short it there, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, Micron right now, what's Micron doing this morning? Micron, it's back up 4. So, it's just extended. It's choppy. I don't really trade Micron, to be honest. If what my community did is they bought it here versus there, and they've been letting it go. It's just a swing trade strategy that I put in, like, when T3 tries to get leads, so you guys come hang out with us, which is a great thing to do because people made a lot of money yesterday. They give the pro earnings gap strategy where you could buy the day after, and that's what this is. You could Google pro earnings gap strategy. I think Trader Stewie has that too. They call it the peg play. You have your gap up, next day it's green, you have your pivot, you buy it, and then just let the market make you money. But anyway, so once again, for today, Nvidia, yeah, I would think, I wouldn't just short it. I would think a little sideways action, and this should participate a little bit better. Yeah, Apple's a pain in the ass. Apple, I got stopped out of on Friday. This loose and wide action was not fun in Apple. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe today you get a little red dog reversal where it trades below 266 and comes back above it and then puts a bottom tail in. But Apple is not the place to be. Doesn't mean you should sell your investment in Apple, but it's not making you money in January being long. You know what made us money in January being long? Friggin' the drone names. If you were here during the vacation, and I was here because my son plays basketball and I don't have to go away, he's a varsity player, which is fine. I like being home. Plus, my wife's Italian. It's nice. I get to celebrate Christmas with Hanukkah. And so, her family comes over. So I was home. And the whole time I was home, I was telling you guys, I'm accumulating RDW. I like this for this year. It's a drone name. Lots of contracts coming out this year. They haven't had any of them yet, and we were accumulating it in here. People are like, well, Red Dog, it's below your 21-day rule. It's below this, it's below that. I'm like, I'm accumulating it because I can. I've been doing this for 20-something years. I could take a little bit of pain. I'll do it verse 640. Bought it, but then on Friday, it finally said, hey, I'm ready. That's when we sent it out as a power play. That's when I got huge size. And yesterday, you got paid. So now into a tiny bit of weakness, I'm going to add a little bit back, and I'm going to massage it. This thing was 25, 22. I think it's going to fill that gap, and I still think this is, a really good drone name. Obviously, ONDS was the leader. Look at that. Leader. I actually was long it in here, and I sold it a little early, unfortunately. I didn't focus there, but it's fine. If you're in it, congratulations. You're making really good money. I also focused on UMAC, which was my number one play, and that was awesome. We sent this as a power play on this day, sold a third, still in it. I bought more here, a little Red Dog reversal, and this looks like it's on its way to 17 or more. So this group has been a group. The key here is, like, I remember 2 years ago, I had no idea what this name was. I had no idea what RDW was. I had no idea what ONDS was. That's what you have to do as traders. There are new groups of stocks that become the great group. And it's your job to find them. It's my job to find them for you because I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3. Then it's also my job to get your mind right so you can execute, so you can handle your size, you can make a lot of money. That's what Red Dog Mindset's for. But anyway, so that's a nice trade. I still think it has more. JOBY, very big trade. This was my biggest trade yesterday. Why? Because I bought options. See, this one I accumulated options into this because I wasn't sure if it was going to hold 13, and it did. And then on Friday, that was your wake-up day. I bought more shares, and guess what? In Power Plays, we sent out a note to double up. I haven't sent out a note to double up in a while. And then if you doubled up on this day, we trimmed a little bit, and now I would think this could work its way back towards highs. So I'll be buying a dip. I'll be staying with this one. Joby Aviation, the small little crafts. It's not quite drones, but I love the CEO, and it's all around the world, and there's a lot of money behind it. So I think this is something we stay with. I had no idea what this was 2 years ago either. So that was the group that made me money yesterday. Apple didn't make me money yesterday. Tesla didn't really make me money. I had TSLL. So you have to move those feet. Okay, what else made me money? Yeah. Joe says, what about Oklo? Oklo, I timed that like a freaking champ. And the Alpha team made a ton of money. So if you're trading alone and you don't know what to turn to, obviously the 630 Club's cool, and if you are a member of Red Dog Mindset, so you keep the 630 Club for all of 2026, just subscribe above to the Twitter. You won't lose it. And I'm doing Friday. I'll do Friday this week. Enough people joined where I feel like, you guys had gratitude and appreciated the fact that it's been free since 2020. I'm going to do a bunch of Fridays because usually I only do Monday through Thursday. But anyway, look at Oklo. Oklo was, a name. I found this name early, by the way, with the Alpha team, like back here. This is when I was trading the cajones out of it down here, and that was friggin' a long time ago. And I traded it to this first move. Then everybody told me it was going to be a zero. I got away from it. Then we traded it again. But P.S., that was then. This is now. You had a Red Dog reversal sell. My buddy Todd made a ton of money shorting it. I didn't short it. I'm not a good short. I remember I sold premium here. I sold like the 190s and collected like $8, which wasn't great. But anyway, down here, I'm like, you know what? January effect. This stock's been battered and bruised. It's been thrown out the doorway. I bought the $80 calls on Wednesday of last week with the Alpha team. And then on Friday, finally perked up. I bought the stock. And then yesterday was a huge win. Congratulations. If you made money, what's it doing today? It's up 75 cents. Probably gets towards these moving averages. And then I might be done with it. I might just take the trade 3-4 days and be boom, boom, boom. That's the luxury about being a trader. Yeah. So some people like, well, what about some guys made more money in ASTS yesterday than anything else because they bought the dip. Big day. ASTS has been trading absolutely fantastic. Little dip yesterday. Remember I said you could buy it versus 78. Well, it never got down to 78. Where did it get to yesterday? It got to 80-ish. So it was even stronger than that. Then it took out the day one high right here, right there. That's a lot of strength and got back to 92.95. So that's fantastic. I think a little inside action and this thing's going to be at highs. I would watch Rocket Labs. Rocket Labs looks really good. It's been leading the way. It's been unbelievable. Here is the recent high. What's this high? This high is what is this, 79.83. Whoops, that's the wrong pivot. Red Dog, you had the wrong pivot. Anyway, so there's lots of ways to trade it. I bought it. He had a Red Dog reversal to start the year right there. What's a Red Dog reversal? It's kind of a clean out trade where from 79 it went below 69, got everybody out, came back above, was strong yesterday, and today it's down a little bit. I'll probably buy a little bit today also. So here you go, RKLB down $1.32. I'll probably add a little bit because who knows how long it takes. And then really the momentum traders, which is what I was born to do way back in the day, will be coming after this thing if it gets above and stays above 79.80. I don't know if it's today, but I would put it on the radar. Maybe go out and buy $80 calls for next Friday. Yeah, we crushed that yesterday. Anyway, so everyone's feeling good. Listen, don't get your highs get too high and your lows get too low. It's only friggin' January 6th. This is day 3. We'll see how today goes. But I am wearing the same sweatshirt, so this way maybe I have a same type of day. That'd be fun. And it's Tuesday. I'm actually in the middle of a 40-hour fast. How you doing so far in 2026? Are you keeping promises to yourself? Are you getting up early? Are you doing your new routine? Did you write down 3 hard things for 2026? Are you following them? Did you break your promises already? If you did, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's friggin' January 6th. If you can't keep to things you want to do in a new year by January 6th, you got some problems. I'm just saying. If you're following your plan, great. Stack these days, stack these weeks. You could do it. Become a better version of yourself. That's how you build self-esteem and confidence, and then all of a sudden you execute, when things are moving and you listen to your inner voice, and that's when everything's working together, and that's how you make a lot of money. I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen a lot of talented traders come and go because they have no system, no routine, no process. And when they're excited, they get too excited. And when they're negative, they get too negative. But anyway, someone asked me about BABA. I did buy some BABA calls for February 20th. Decent downtrend, broke, hanging here. It's a little off today. It's a pain in the ass stock, to be honest, but I figured, hey, if China's going to be a little bit better, I bought the 170 calls. This is for 220, so I wanted to put that in there. UNH is different. Nice little day one yesterday. Probably could work its way up to 360. What's UNH doing today? UNH, a lot of my friends are long UNH. It's up 3. A little extra follow through. That's cool. Iron was my other biggest trade yesterday. This too, a big name for us in 2025, kind of was under pressure since the reversal here, since, November 10th. Remember that day when everything gapped up and stayed up and it went red. That was and this was a really nice trade. I'm going to stay with this. I'm going to buy dips. I still think this works higher. It just got a little extended. This was your day 1 buy, day 2. Now, usually if this is going to be a great sequence, it opens down a little bit, you buy a little bit in the hole, and then all of a sudden, you could add when it takes out 48.29. That's how an active sequence works. That's how you massage trades. That's how you use a tier system. But right now it's 6:51. I'm 21 minutes in. The 6:30 club is only allowed to be 20 minutes. I got yelled at by the brass yesterday, even though I'm the founding partner. My managers that we pay, you're yelling at me that I do too much on the 6:30 club. If you want to tune in, come into the Alpha team. If you want to get 40 charts and hang out with a patiently aggressive group that knows how to trade for a living, the Alpha team could be for you. Or Power Plays, where I tell you what to do. Or, you look at the 6:30 club, you piece together everything and you make a little bit of money. But if you can make a little bit of money watching the 6:30 club and looking at my charts on the public Twitter and watch me on Fox Business, you can make a lot more if you're a member of some of our stuff. If not, it's your prerogative. I appreciate you for tuning in today. Yeah, Bitcoin was really good. I bought IBIT last Wednesday, trimmed some, I'll buy a little bit back. Nice candle in the IBIT. Nice gap you could be long against. You could be long IBIT against this, and it probably works its way up towards here. That's where your resistance is. So again, you could have made a lot of money in a lot of places yesterday if you participated, if you had your mind right, if you had your plan, if you executed, congratulations. Keep stacking days. That's going to be the 2026 thesis. Stack days, weeks, months. Guess what? It adds up, and then you can provide a living or provide a nice life for your family. But, more importantly, enjoy yourself along the way and appreciate the journey, because by the time you get to the destination, you're all cooked and done. We don't want to do that. We want to enjoy it. I'll see you guys. I got to go hang out with the Alpha team.